Hey everyone. In 2025, I lost 40 pounds, which might seem major, but the most major thing to me was not the weight loss, but the fact that I went from getting home after work every day, laying on the couch, to living a healthy lifestyle and completely transforming the way my life is going. So, if you are interested in my weight loss journey and the habits that I currently maintain, then I'm going to be talking about all of that in the video. Perhaps the question is, how did I end up in this situation? I've definitely yo yo dieted. I've struggled with binge eating in the past, but I've also always been a relatively fit person. I'm the kind of person who works out pretty regularly. Although I've struggled with things like binge eating in the past and also struggled with weight gain and loss, it really never hit me as badly as it did in 2024. I won't really get into the details, but 2024 was pretty much one of my most rough years as an adult. And because of some stuff that happened, I fell into a pretty deep depression and had a really tough time getting out of it. It took me almost a year to actually get up and start moving from the time that I really fell into a deep depression. So, if you are currently in the thick of it, if you're struggling with finding motivation to work out, give yourself some grace because I don't think that there's any way I could have gotten up and started living a healthier lifestyle any sooner. And I truly believe that. It really did help because I've got to say that I have an incredibly supportive husband, and he sat me down a couple of times and really was concerned not about my appearance and my weight gain, but just about my overall health and the way my lifestyle was affecting my decisions. And he could definitely tell that everything was taking a toll on my body. And truthfully, if it wasn't for him, I don't know that I would have gotten out of this time period as easily as I did. I would highly recommend finding someone that you can talk to. I don't know the exact moment I woke up and I said, something's got to change. I really don't remember. But what I do remember is that I was spending every single day on the couch. I mean, from morning till night, I was staring at my phone. I was doom scrolling and I couldn't get out of the cycle of just wanting to shut out the entire world. And so I would wake up, I might move to the couch, and that's where I was going to stay all day. If I was going to do any kind of movement, it was me getting up from the couch to go to the kitchen to eat something, then going back to the couch and just stuffing my face and then looking through my phone and doom scrolling again. It was a pretty endless cycle. And I hate to admit it, but I really wasn't taking care of myself down to the most basic of things. I wasn't showering very often. I probably smelled pretty gross, honestly. As I was continuing to gain weight, suddenly I wasn't fitting into any of my clothes. So my uniform every single day was an oversized t-shirt. And don't get me wrong, I love that outfit. I still wear an oversized t-shirt and sweatpants almost daily, but I wasn't changing out of those clothes. And I was sinking. At some point, I got on the scale and I weighed 175. And I want to be very clear that I don't think the number on the scale is indicative of whether you are healthy or unhealthy, whether you need to gain weight or lose. But for me personally, when I saw that number, as someone who has yo yo dieted, gone up, gone down multiple times throughout her life, and I saw that number as the highest number it had ever been. And I also knew that there was not going to be an end in sight with the way I'm taking care of myself and the way I was eating such massive quantities and the speed at which I was going up in weight because I was very aware that I was going to get to 210, 215. I mean, God only knows. And once again, I just want to repeat that for me, seeing that number on the scale, the 175, was my wake up call. But your wake up call might be completely different. And maybe for you, 175 is not a high number. I do not think that the number on the scale is particularly indicative of whether you are living a healthy lifestyle and need to change. But for me, when I saw that number, I said, this is going to go one of two ways. Either I am going to stay depressed. I'm going to do absolutely nothing with my life. And I also knew that I couldn't fit into any of the clothes that I'm normally able to fit into. I'm usually a size small, top and bottom. Sometimes I go into a medium. But as a general rule, all of the clothes in my closet are a size small. Not being able to fit into anything was really a big indication that I was going to have to figure something out. Either I was gonna have to buy bigger clothes, which once again is not necessarily a problem. I've started working out and I might be going up to a size medium, but I'm doing it healthily, so I'm not worried about it. When I was gaining weight and I wasn't being healthy, gaining a pant size or gaining a shirt size was an indication that I wasn't living a positive lifestyle. So I made the decision. I was going to go out and I was going to run. I didn't care if it was going to be half a block or a whole block, just whatever I could do. And because I haven't been moving my body really at all, it was very quickly clear to me that something was wrong. I remember the first run, I put on a loose t-shirt, which at this point was now tight. I put on my shorts that I could barely fit into, wasn't wearing a bra because I couldn't fit into any of it. I drove down the road to a neighborhood that was relatively quiet, so I knew I wouldn't run into anybody. I ran from the end of one block to the end of another. And by the time I finished that, I was so out of breath and my knees hurt so badly that I thought there was no way that I was going to be able to run. And truthfully, I started losing weight before I started really working out. I changed my dietary choices around a little bit before I actually felt ready to work out because this was totally a new sensation to me. Everything always hurt. I mean, my knee joints, I was really worried that there was no way I was going to be able to ever run again. I thought my knees were just absolutely shot. And I'm realizing now that was just because I was so out of shape. I hadn't been doing any kind of resistance training, so my body just wasn't equipped. I started eating a little bit better and being more conscientious of my dietary choices, and that's really where things started to shift for me. In the past, I've tried to restrict my dietary choices and cut out sweets, and it simply didn't work. And before I get into any of the dietary stuff, I do just want to say that I'm not a registered dietitian. I'm not a health coach. So for your individual journey, please do what's right for you and don't take what I'm doing or what I did as solid dietary advice. So the biggest thing was that I knew that protein helped me feel full and I wanted to have a protein focused diet and then also not restrict other things in my life, such as sweets. I've battled with cravings and emotional eating and binge eating for my whole life, and that's not going to go away anytime soon. On the whole, I was able to make daily decisions that really impacted my life. This might sound really silly, but I got very much into chicken nuggets. I found some chicken nuggets at Costco that are really high in protein and really low in calories. And I told myself, if I am going to binge eat or if I'm going to eat something, I'm first going to eat my fill on a high protein food that tastes delicious because I love chicken nuggets. From there, I'm just gonna keep eating high protein things and continue on. I feel like my plate has really evolved since then. I'm eating more vegetables and things like that. At the time, I was like, I'm just gonna shove protein in my face, whether it be high protein yogurt, chicken nuggets. I started to lose weight because I was just eating something that wasn't pure sugar and carbs all the time. Before this, I was eating cake, fast food, you name it. My diet did shift and I started to lose a little bit of weight. And once I was able to fit into my largest sports bra, I also started to work out again. I felt I needed to get a little bit of weight off before I started regularly exercising because of how badly everything hurt. So basically, my diet has evolved since then, and getting braces on really forced me to be more mindful with my eating. And I lost a lot of weight when I got my braces put on. I pretty much could eat noodles at first and yogurt, and then now I'm able to eat normally again, but it kind of forced me to be more mindful in my eating just because I had to slow down and think of what I was eating more, and honestly couldn't eat a lot of the things that I had been shoving in my mouth before. So, I've gone through a couple of dietary changes in this journey. Once I got my diet a little more under control, started losing a little bit of weight, and I started exercising again, I was still eating in a decent calorie deficit, but I did start to eat more fresh foods. Once I started lifting, I really started to get a lot hungrier. I was worried that I was going to start gaining back the weight that I lost. I think I gained back maybe 2 or 3 pounds since I lost the weight initially, but I did start taking creatine and I also started weight training. So, other than that, even though my appetite has drastically increased since I started lifting, it really hasn't caused any weight gain. That was something that I was actually really afraid of initially. Not that weight gain is bad, but I was just really worried about falling back into bad habits. And the way I've been able to mitigate that through the increased hunger is that in the morning, I have high protein and carbs. Sometimes I am just trying to get out the door and get to work. So sometimes I'll just have a protein bar and a meat stick. But if I get hungry, I don't go straight to the cookies or straight to the cake, but rather I'll go for like a protein bar that tastes like a cookie, or I'll drink my protein shake. And then for lunch, I typically have a Trader Joe's salad. I've just found that to be the easiest way to get fresh food in. It is a little bit more expensive to buy those every week. I do find that I'm getting in more greens and fresh food and proteins because before I was just eating chicken nuggets for lunch, and that's not super good. The biggest way I've mitigated a lot of the cravings and binge eating is to get protein based treats. I really like the Built Puff bars because they taste like a candy bar, and I'll get protein Cheerios and I'll use protein milk. So honestly, I get way more full than I was getting because there's just only so much of that high protein stuff I can consume before I'm just absolutely stuffed. Incorporating more fiber into my diet has been a game changer. But I think it's important to be flexible. I don't swear off of candy by any means. I still have a sweet tooth. I still deal with binge eating, but it's just gotten a lot more under control. And I'm a little bit more mindful of the things that I'm putting into my body. So now I'll just talk a little bit about my workout routine because I have been regularly working out for about a year now. But I got a turf toe injury, so my workout has changed drastically because I've been dealing with that for about 5 to 6 months at this point. Initially, when I started working out, I did a couch to 5K plan using the Runna app. And I know I've seen some like mixed reviews about that app online. And I think using an app for me really gamifies it. There is some credibility to feeling like you get to check the box or you get some kind of, even if it's an AI robot telling you you did a good job, getting to see your progress and how you go through your journey on an app is really cool. And I've definitely found a lot more consistency and luck with using apps in general for my fitness. So, regardless of what you do or how you approach it, just find a way to be consistent. So, I did the Couch to 5K program. They had a program called Path to Park Run. And I chose that one because it meant that I would only be running 2 times a week. And knowing my body and my very great lack of fitness at the time when I first started exercising, I really needed to minimally increase it. Basically, I followed that plan for 8 weeks. And when I signed up for it, I said, I have one goal, and that is to check the box that I have exercised every single day. So when I signed up for the plan, I did 2 days of running. It basically works you up to running a 5K, and so it's a walk run plan. I did lifting 2 times a week, and then the other 3 days I followed their mobility routine, a Pilates routine, and I think it was a stretch and strengthen routine, but I just had to make these goals for myself of basic self-care. Jackie, you have to brush your teeth every day. You have to wash your face every day. So for me, the Runna app was perfect. I loved it, and I would absolutely like to use it in the future, but I had signed up for a 5K, and 3 days before my 5K, I was stretching, I was doing yin yoga, I went off script, hyperextended my toe, and got a turf toe injury. I didn't know it at the time. I thought I had just initially, hurt myself a little bit and I was gonna be okay. So 3 days later, my toe's still a little iffy, but I said, "You know what? You worked hard for this. You've spent 8 weeks training, getting in shape, getting past minor aches and pains, and you're still gonna run a 5K." So I gave it 2 more days and I still ran my 5K, and it was clear as soon as I finished that I was still injured, and my toe felt so bad. I could barely drive back to the house, and I was like, "Oh, this is it. I don't know what else I can do because if I can't work out, I can't do anything." So for about 2 months, I fell back into a pretty bad cycle. Once again, I would get home from work, I was back on the couch, and I didn't gain a whole lot of weight back, but I did start to gain a little bit of weight, and my husband was like, "Hey, I just want you to know that you are doing what you were doing before. So, do with that what you will." My husband helped me become aware of it and said, "I would love to not see you fall back into the depressive cycle that you were in before, and don't hurt yourself, but there's gotta be something that you can do to continue to take care of yourself." I was watching Mia Maples, and she had said something about an app called Trainwell. These trainers can help you if you're injured, and you can get one that'll specialize in what your injury is. It's kind of like personal training. At the time, I didn't have insurance, so I really couldn't afford to get my toe looked at. And I was like, anything would be cheaper than that. So I signed up. I just did a 2-week trial of Trainwell, and my personal trainer was so awesome right off the bat. He had like 10 years of experience, knew a lot about turf toe, and was able to ease me into workouts. I was pretty much only doing upper body. And to be clear, this is not an ad for Trainwell. I'm just absolutely, I think I would be on the couch right now if it wasn't for me signing up for that app. I don't think you have to have a personal trainer, but if you can find something that grabs your attention and will keep you accountable, then that's what you should do. And maybe it's a run club, maybe it's finding a friend and saying, "Hey, we're going to go to the gym this many times a week." Whatever works for you, just do that thing. It might take you a few times to find something that does, and that's okay. Just don't give up. Keep trying. I started working with my personal trainer for the first couple of months. It was pretty much upper body, but at least I was moving. And gradually I was able to ease into lower body. I've been doing Trainwell for about 4 months at this point, and I've been able to maintain consistency throughout the whole time. And then just about a month ago, I was able to start incorporating Legree classes into my workout routine. So I'm working out a total of 5 days a week. That didn't happen overnight with my injury, and I'm still not quite to the point where I'm able to run, but I'm able to see that that's gonna be in the not so distant future. So I'll probably start incorporating in stationary cycling and then just gradually ease my way into more load-bearing activities. But the point is, regardless of my injury, I'm getting up and I'm moving, and I definitely had that setback there. Overall, since I started working out and lifting weights, I've stopped losing weight. But for me, that's okay because I'm at a healthy weight. When I gained back those first few pounds, I thought, oh my God, I'm heading back in the direction again that I was going in. And I felt a little discouraged and honestly just wanted to throw in the towel. The weight gain stopped. And I think some of that was hunger from the increased activity load, and taking creatine does cause water retention. So there's just several factors in there. But all in all, have kept the weight off for about 7 months now. If there's one thing I've learned from this whole journey is that no matter what, I absolutely can never stop moving again. In the past, I've had a tendency to go and start exercising way too much or focusing too much on my diet. But I'm at the age and point in my life where it's no longer about achieving a certain physique or being the skinniest or most ripped I can be. I want to live a healthy, long life where I feel good and I'm able to just do the things that I want to do. And like, yes, does it feel awesome every time I go up and wait at the gym? Or did it feel awesome when I was running and I could add on mileage or add on an amount of time? For sure. But I'm no longer focused on those mile markers. The biggest thing for me is that I wake up every day and I say, this is the day I choose to do something healthy for myself. And sometimes that's eating a salad. Sometimes that's going to the gym for an hour. And I think also a big thing is limiting myself. In the past, I would work out for 3 hours in one go, but I can no longer live a balanced life in all areas by working out for that long. I'm back in school as an adult learner, so I just don't have the time for that. That's a huge thing that I really tried to rein in because I'm kind of an all or nothing person and have been most of my life. So being able to balance everything out and say, hey, I'm going to do this hobby a little bit, but I'm also going to stick to my obligations. I think it's just important to maintain balance across many different facets of my life so that I can feel fulfilled. And, I wish I had a picture of when I was at my heaviest. And initially I did and deleted it because I just didn't want to look at it. But I wish I had kept it. I do have a picture of myself after I had already been working out for about a month and lost about maybe 15 pounds. So I'll throw that up here somewhere. What I look like now. And in just that, I feel like not only is there a big difference in my weight loss, but also in my body composition. So, really, my goal and my strategy for maintaining the weight loss long term is to just not fall back into any of the previous traps that I have in the past, to continue eating high protein, high fiber foods, to continue waking up every day and working out, not working out too much because I will burn myself out, and doing things that make me happy. And I want to continue exploring my creative side here on YouTube. And I also want to continue wearing cute clothes to the gym because when I get dressed up and go to the gym, I feel like I'm much more likely to take a shower and take care of myself. It's like my little outing for the day. So just finding those little moments in life and continuing to focus on relationships and the time I have with my dog and exploring those creative outlets. All of that goes into maintaining my weight loss and the healthy lifestyle I've created for myself. I was really struggling to have less of a bleak outlook on life. I really just felt like I was dead ended. I wasn't going anywhere with my life. I was 28 and didn't have a lot of stability. Just all sorts of these like little things that was really nagging at me and making me feel like I should have been further along. Sometimes I still feel that way, but overall, I feel much more proud of where I am rather than feeling like I'm lagging behind. I'm about to graduate with honors and transfer to another university and continue studying there. I feel like I have a lot to look forward to now. And instead of feeling like I'm falling behind, I can appreciate where I'm currently at and where I'm going. Losing weight has made me feel physically better, and getting in shape has made me feel mentally better as well. If I'm upset, I can take it all out when I'm lifting weights. I can be really aggressive when I'm doing my shoulder press, and then I leave all of that at the gym. I come to work in a good mood for the most part. If you are beginning your fitness journey or you're just feeling like you're stuck, give yourself a break. Life is hard regardless of where you're at. Give yourself some grace. If you're not at the weight you wanna be, or you're not living the lifestyle you wanna be, like, you'll get there. Just keep trying, be consistent, and the biggest thing I would recommend doing is not doing too much. On social media, everyone is like, "Oh, 75 hard," or "I did this 30-day challenge where I walked 20,000 steps or 10,000 steps," and if you're starting from 0, that's probably not super achievable. Start with 1,000 steps. If you're taking 500, take 1,000 steps and, like, go from there. Don't start just increasing your load. Get consistent with the 1,000. Would it be great to overnight lose 30 pounds? Sure. And can you probably lose 30 pounds or 40 pounds in less than a year? Absolutely. But for me, I wanted to lose weight a little bit slower because I wanted it to be sustainable. I would just recommend doing something that you know that you could maintain for the rest of your life, no matter the situation. Obstacles are going to come along, and there might be times where you have to take a break from doing something, or you need to step away from working out because there are other obligations in life. But don't beat yourself up about it. And also understand that results don't happen overnight, and they're also not lost overnight. Just get up, start doing something, and don't overdo it either, because I've gotten myself in more trouble overdoing it than I have underdoing it. So start small, keep at it, just keep chugging away. It's not always about whether you wake up and feel motivated to do it. Just make it a part of your life and just say, "This is the thing that I do now. It's just what I do. Sometimes I'm going to feel crappy and I'm still going to do it. And that's okay." You know, when I'm on my period, I don't feel like working out. I just put on some baggy clothes and I show up and I do what I can. And maybe it's not the best, but I'm there and I'm trying. I hope you found this video helpful in some way. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, drop it in the comment box below. Let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this, or if you prefer review style videos. I'm kind of still exploring my niche and working out my space here on YouTube. I hope you all have a wonderful day and make 2026 your best year yet.